So, how are you? How was the rest of the band?
Doing well, thanks. Yeah, we're great. We're, excited that the record is finally out.
Yeah, well, first thing which I've got to say to you is congratulations on it. Uh,
Thank you.
the album is phenomenal. It's absolutely fantastic. I give it a 9.9
Oh,
out of
thank you.
10. So, yeah, it's a brilliant album. You must be pleased with it of how it's come out.
Yeah, I mean, you do your best every time. Um, there's only so much you can give every time, and you don't know really what everyone is going to think. You just
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, you just kind of put it all out there and hope for the best, really, at the end of the day. But
What
yeah.
was the process for the album recording and the writing? The last time we spoke was, gosh, I remember the album now. I did
Abyss.
write it down. Abyss. That was the last time we spoke. So, what was your writing and recording process between albums?
The writing process was exactly the same. Um, you know, because we like to write concept records, I find it easier for us all to stay on the same page if I do like the track by track overview, like I've done for the past two records as well. So I just write the story out as chapters, and each chapter is a song, and I explain, what's going on in the story, what I want the song to feel like, what I want the listener to feel when they hear it, what I want the song to sound like. So I'll just kind of give cues like, this one should
Yeah,
be fast and heavy, or this one should be slow and, thoughtful. And then sometimes I'll give examples of songs or just riffs from songs, or even, um, like movies or anything
yeah,
really, just kind of as inspiration. And then the boys will use that to write their riffs. And
yeah,
then they'll come back and they'll say, "Hey, I was thinking this riff for this song." And I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, no, that's perfect." Or I'll be like, "Actually, I think
yeah,
that's better for this song." And then once we have that foundation, we'll kind of continue from there. Make sure that every song has at least something to it, and then we'll continue the writing process together as a collaborative effort after that. So we did, yeah, it was exactly the same as Abyss and Apex. And then recording, we tried something new. We recorded ourselves in a studio in Victoria, as opposed to going to Denmark and recording with Jacob.
yeah,
Um, this time we recorded ourselves and then sent it to him still for the mix and master, but we did all of the engineering ourselves, and that was difficult. It was a learning curve, and we kind of realized that we hadn't given ourselves enough time, so I ended up having to go back into the studio afterwards to finish a bunch of things, and so that was a little bit of a setback there, but we figured it out. Yeah. So, and then
How
of course,
long did
yeah,
it take? How long
Jacob.
did it take to record?
We booked 3 weeks in the studio, and that's what we usually do, because we're usually totally ready to go when we
Yeah.
hit the studio. And but this time, yeah, I was a little behind because um, we had a kid in 2022, so she was taking up a lot of my free time. So yeah, I ended up going back.
Congratulations on it.
Oh, thank you. So I ended up going back into the studio, and I think I did like four more sessions just
Yeah.
individually in the studio to finish up harmonies and some leads that I didn't get done, and we put a couple more screams in there in different parts and things like that. So yeah.
Uh, like I say, since we last spoke on the Abyss album, how was yourselves as a band changed? Have you has there been excuse the phrase, but have you become more mature in your writing uh and the way you are as a band?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Well, we have Nick in the band now as a permanent member, so he's our bass player. So that was really nice to have him as a part of everything as well, because
Yeah,
he's got a new opinion and a new outlook on things, and he had some really cool suggestions for riffs and things like that. So that was really nice to incorporate him into the writing process. And then, yeah, I mean, our influences changed. We've discovered new bands since
yeah,
Abyss and fallen in love with different artists and wanted to bring all of that into the music. So, we change as people, and so our music is going to change as well, right?
yeah,
And we just, what our basic kind of motivation is to write songs that are fun and that we have fun
yeah,
playing and that people will have fun listening to and that will be fun in the live setting. And so that's really just kind of what we focused on. And we also wanted to make sure that we had, catchy choruses and memorable guitar solos
yeah,
and parts where people can sing along when we play it live. And we think of all that when we're writing an album, and I think we just kind of are thinking more and more of that. The more that we write, the
yeah.
more albums that we do. Yeah.
The album to myself, like you mentioned when you said about certain films, the album to me does give that soundtrack sort of feel. It's as though it's like a concept album, as though like I say, we're with the soundtrack of a story. And it when I first listened to it, I got blown away. I was like, this is quality. And it's it's so fascinating to hear from different bands how they go about recording and how they go, because every single band is different. So
Mhm.
thank you for going into that in great depth. But I was like I say, I give it a 9.9 when I reviewed the album. What does the media and more importantly the fans thought about the album?
I mean, so far so good. We're getting a lot of replies from fans that are sharing the album, on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and just saying, listening to this for like the 15th time today and that kind of stuff. So that's a great sign that people are enjoying it. And the media seems to be reacting well. There have been a couple kind of,
Yeah, they
mediocre
haven't got a
reviews,
clue.
but but maybe they'll, maybe they were kind of thinking to themselves, I'd like to listen to that record again. Maybe it's better than I thought. I don't know. Who knows? I hope that secretly they have it on repeat, despite what their
Yeah,
review have said.
the
Um, because that's a
the
win
thing
for me,
with
anyways.
yeah, the thing with reviewers is yeah, it's like since I've been doing this and reviewing albums and interviewing bands, my taste in music has gone from one extreme to the other, from symphonic metal to death metal and black metal. And but I do feel that other reviewers they go into it and they're so critical about certain, and I just think if you sit there and listen to the album, the album is amazing, but it's like, oh, tones here, tones there, and I always feel that the right person has got to review the album. It's pointless having somebody who likes pop reviewing uh, a a rock album, or
Yep.
a death metal reviewer reviewing a symphonic metal.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't like that. It's not my cup of tea. And I think that is the difficulty sometimes when it comes to with the media. And
Yeah.
and like I say, there are some people and they go into it in such a critical way. It's as though they're going out of their way to to like showcase themselves rather than the album. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like it's probably very hard to go into it objectively like that kind of,
Yeah,
and to just say I'm just going to listen to this and not have any preconceived notions or
yeah,
try to compare it to previous records or think about the band that I just listened to before, having to review their record or that kind
yeah,
of thing. And to just kind of be like, am I enjoying this?
yeah,
That's at the end of the day, that's the question that you want to answer.
yeah.
But I mean, I would not want to have to review records. I can tell you that much.
I,
I just think it would be it's just overwhelming for sure.
when I do my reviews, I do it as a fan. I do it as a fan of music,
Hmm.
and no matter um, what style of music, how it's performed, or anything like that, to me, you've got to tip your hat off to somebody of that band you're listening to because they've created something. It's like
Hmm.
an artist creates a painting and then somebody goes in, I don't like that. I don't. Instead of looking at it as
Yeah.
a creation, they're looking at it in like "Ugh," in disgust. And
Yeah.
I remember I'd never ever get one of these top reviewing slots for magazines because every album I listen to, I'm like, fucking hell, that's great. And
That's good though. I
yeah,
think that's great. Yeah.
I, I review it as a fan, and
Yeah.
I enjoy it. It's the only thing with it, which what I don't enjoy is that because it is myself doing it, I could end up with 12 albums to review,
I
and I'm like,
know.
ooh. But
Something new every hour.
yeah, it's hard work. It's really, really hard work.
No, I can
And then
imagine.
trying to not repeat yourself, and it's
Yeah.
um the album and touring. Uh, have you had chance to do any shows since the release?
No, not yet. We're doing an album release party at in our hometown of Victoria next weekend. So that's going to be our first time really kind of playing like Phantoma and that having that be the main focus of it. So we're
Yeah,
really excited for that. We're excited to see how it goes over. And we played a festival 2 weekends ago and played a couple of the new songs live. And people enjoyed them and we're excited to hear them. So
yeah.
hopefully that sentiment remains for over these next few shows. And then yeah, we're touring Australia and New Zealand in June and
Oh wow.
doing a bunch of European festivals in the summer, and then we're doing North America in the fall. So we're going to uh, just kind of see if we can sprinkle the new album in there, but we're also going to play a lot of old favorites as well, and we're
Yeah.
not just going to completely leave anything behind or anything like that.
Um, Before I let you go, finally, will we be seeing Unleash the Archers in the UK?
We are playing Bloodstock in August, but other than that, we don't have anything booked except we're in the middle of booking a headlining European tour for spring of 2025. I'm not sure if we'll play, if we'll be able to get outside of London or if we're even going to be able to get, squeeze London in there because we have a a very limited amount of time
Yeah,
that we can be away from our little girl because Scott and I are both in the band, so it's hard.
yeah.
It's harder for us to be gone for long periods of time. But we are going to try and get over there for at least one show. But we'll have to see, kind of how the scheduling goes.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, we're going to do our best. Yeah.
Um, this has been absolutely brilliant speaking to you, Brittney. Like I say, the album is absolutely fantastic, and I hope in the near future, in 2025, I can get to hear the songs live and catch up then.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
And yourself, thank you so much, and
Okay.
thank you once again.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Okay, okay, bye,
Bye.
bye.